Cary Lockwood putting his professional career and his reputation on the line by appearing on a television show with a guy who's still not sure which end of the car in a given model the engine is. But I don't have to, because if you have somebody you trust that's going to be able to look under the hood and say, you need this, this fluid's a little low, be careful of this, that's what you need.
That's definitely true. Now, cars have evolved tremendously, as you know, over the years, and it's like,
they're really complex too.
They're very complex, and it's not like the human body. You know, every year the cars change, and they've changed dramatically just in the last 5 years. And there's hybrids, and there's two-mode hybrids, and there's direct fuel injection, and there's vehicles that no longer have dipsticks.
Yes.
So there's many things to know, and having a trusted professional, just like having a trusted professional to trust with your body, your doctor, or your dentist.
My car has a dipstick behind the wheel. So considering that, and I have openly acknowledged my ignorance of the field, I don't have to worry about that, because you're owner of YourAutoNetwork.com, and that is what?
YourAutoNetwork.com was put together when I started doing informational car talk radio some years back. It was so hard for the public from calls I would take that they just were hungry to find good, reliable, trustworthy, honest mechanical services.
So you're a consumer advocate for people like me?
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay.
Sir.
So let's be an advocate right now.
Okay.
Cash for clunkers. So we got a lot of clunkers. They're probably not all going to go to the junkyard. What about care for clunkers? What happens with the people who have cars that are before all of this contemporary technology that we're talking about? How do we take care of those?
Now, are you talking about the cars pre-clunker, like pre-84?
I'm just talking about anything that would be categorized as a clunker. So if it's pre-84 or if it's pre-90, let's talk about the people who have the older models, who take extra care.
Now, those cars are actually fairly easy to maintain.
Really?
And the problem is, though, people aren't maintaining them because of the economy in so many cases. But if
what's basic maintenance then, Cary? Basic maintenance for an older car without all the computer business?
Well, actually, computers have been around in cars since about 1981. So having a computer isn't necessarily make the vehicle that much more complex, unless it comes to like a drivability issue. But as far as basic maintenance, air filters, fuel filters, obviously oil change, lubrication of the chassis, and many of those things are still pretty basic. Now, when you start getting into the newer models, into the mid-2000s and above, that's where you need a little more expertise, and you need to pay a little more close attention to your owner's manual. And if you have a good mechanic, he or she can definitely lead you down the path to keep that car on the road for a long, long period of time. And, you know, after your car payment is up, isn't it nice to have that car rolling down the highway and you're not making that monthly payment?
Oh, you bet. Take us along the path of the things that you have here and briefly explain what's going on with the demonstration.
Well, this is just kind of a demonstration of what transmission fluid looks like. And the reason I brought this is there are a lot of newer cars now that when it comes to the transmission, there is no longer a dipstick to check your transmission fluid.
So how do you check it?
Well, you have to go through a procedure to set the level.
Oh.
And what's bad about that, Pat, is that you used to be able to pull a stick and look at the color of that fluid.
This is what it's supposed to be, right?
Yes, this is what it should look like when it's fresh. Now, if it looks like this isn't necessarily bad. Just because the color has changed does not indicate it's due for a service. But if it looks like this, and you can not only see the color, when you smell it and it smells burnt, that's a tip-off. But if you don't have a dipstick to check it, how do you know if it looks like this? Is it getting close to being due for a service? Or is it way past due?
Yeah, you lost me with procedure. When you said there's a procedure involved, then I go immediately to my Cary guy.
Right.
What about these? What is this?
This has been around for a while. This is actually just called a cabin air filter.
Yeah.
And these are awesome devices.
That looks a little like the stuff I have in my house.
Kind of like a small version of your home heating ventilation filter. And a lot of cars have these now, and they keep the dust and dirt and the pollen from coming through the vents. Remember on old cars, you'd turn the vent on the first time in the summer and you get all that dust?
What am I supposed to know about these, though?
What you need to know is, does your car have it or not, and how it affects the performance of your heating and AC system. If you'd like to do a quick test, And I can show you something?
As long as you can make it really quick,
Okay,
yeah.
real quick.
Okay.
Take that straw.
Yeah.
Give you a
Are
new
you
straw.
serving beverages? What is going
We
on
will.
here?
Just blow through that straw real quick.
Okay. Into the bag?
Just blow out the bag.
Okay.
Tell me what happens. Well, you're probably going to take the paper off.
Oh, yeah, okay. See, this is why I failed automatically. Here we go.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, you see how it moves?
Yeah.
Now here's a restricted straw that I made.
Oh, see, I was doing the restricted straw demonstration.
No, you were doing the unrestricted, and I'm doing the restricted. But anyways.
No, before, when I had the paper on, I was doing that.
That's correct.
I was attempting to show the
But that's a
restricted.
basic demonstration of what happens when this gets clogged up, and then people complain, hey, my AC isn't working, or
Yes.
I'm not getting any flow.
It's going to be 105 degrees, by the way, sometime a little later in a few days,
Right.
back to 105. That's bad for these.
Yes. Now, this is a belt, but I brought this belt because it's not a wore-out belt. It's a slightly used belt.
But the heat can really
The heat can
mess
wreak
things up,
havoc on
right?
it. But the other thing I'd like to say about this belt is just the fact that a good mechanic, an honest mechanic, is going to look at this belt and say, you know what, there's a few cracks in it, but it's still got service life in it. Now, when you have chunks missing or a bunch of cracks in a small area, if you have maybe 5 or 10 or 15 cracks in a 1-inch area, then you can condemn this part and say it's due for a change.
Listen, we've got to talk about so many things the next time you show up, but very quickly, because I'll tell you, I'm kind of interested in the McCormick and Schmick's display. Mercedes coming out with a hybrid when?
Right. They haven't announced the release date right
But
now.
this is a plug-in.
Yes, this is a plug-in electric hybrid, and their top-of-the-line one, I haven't seen a price tag on. Their next step down, their S400, they're talking a price tag of about $88,000.
Okay, and the Prius is being held up in ports because of some patent thing?
Well, about in 2005, a small engineering firm sued Toyota and won for patent infringement on their hybrid drive
So
system.
we can't get a Prius anymore?
Yes, you may, but now they're going back to the Trade Commission, the International Trade Commission, and saying, hey, you know what? We want these vehicles stopped at the border unless we get, probably they're looking for more money per vehicle that's sold. And
Be
that's-
prepared for Laura, my producer, to call you, and we're going to be talking about cars and repair and maintenance a lot, because you're not going to get the information from me. You got to get Cary Lockwood. Or you can actually contact him at yourautonetwork.com. You know how terrific this show is? I have both a McCormick and a Schmick, both here, and they brought a lot of good-looking stuff. This is Pat McMahon.